Shalom, Shalom, and welcome to the channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. This series, Letter and Spirit, is where I draw emphasis on how the Spirit can make the letter alive, how it's important for us to realize that, because so many people are captured and pointing to the text, the letter, and they're saying that's what the Word says. Over centuries, people have said that's what the Word says. That's what is written. But consider this, there's so many different translations, so many different writings. Some left out books, some changed names. But in this segment of Letter and Spirit, I want to bring focus to hidden idols. For such a time as this, it would be wise, and I say that a lot, because my brothers and sisters, it's time to embrace the need for recognizing all that is necessary to grow in maturity and set-apartness. There's much work to be done. Consider one definition of idol: a person or thing that is greatly admired, loved, or revered. We may not realize that when we give too much attention to someone, or thing, it is a form of idolatry. Hidden idols can sometimes cause much damage as a result of taking our attention off things that are set apart. We often have hidden idols that creep into our lives, my brothers and sisters, unknowingly. They can be represented by both people and or things. Come, take a look at what can be a hidden idol. Maybe it's time for us to do an assessment and recognize, have we embraced hidden idols unknowingly? Come with me to Exodus chapter 20, verse 4 through 6. Exodus chapter 20, verse 4 through 6. This is the chapter that talks about the Ten Commandments, but I want to share verses 4, 5, and 6, which states, "You do not make for yourselves a carved image or any likeness, or that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuah, your Almighty One," it says Elohim. I'm reading the scripture version, but when I see Elohim, Elohim is plural for mighty ones. There's only one mighty one, and that is the Almighty Father, Yahuah. It says, "Yahuah, your Almighty One, am a jealous all, visiting the crookedness of the fathers of the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands." No false idols, my brothers and sisters. Sometimes we have fallen into the habit of thinking we can dress things up that are wicked to try to make it look acceptable or seem right when they're not. Consider Psalm 115, verses 2 through 4. It says, "Why should the nations say, where now is their Almighty One? But, O Almighty One is in the heavens. Whatever pleased him, he has done. The idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands." The works of men's hands. What could that be? Let's see. Ponder on what could possibly be hidden idols within us, among us. Consider Isaiah chapter 2, verse 17 and 18. It reads, "And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the pride of men shall be brought low. And Yahuah alone shall be exalted in that day, and the idols completely pass away." See, idols have an appointed time to cease to exist. It may happen quicker for others than some. End times bring anxiousness and eagerness to act swiftly. Too often the things we see with our eyes become the center of attraction. Don't deny it, my brothers and sisters. It happens. We each face it from time to time in more ways than we can imagine. But we have entered into a season where focus is of the utmost importance. Be advised, when we are distracted, lose focus, we are subject to hidden idols moving in. Yashral, Yashral. Remember, hidden idols can be a thing or a person by definition. Look around. It might be easy to spot a person who have a favorite thing. We also know that individuals become very attracted to a person or people. However, I am not referencing attractions that are guarded and spoken of often. I am referencing attractions. Let me reread that, going too fast. We also know that individuals become very attracted to a person or people. However, I am referencing attractions that are guarded and spoken of often, more than serving and worshiping the Almighty Yahuah. In other words, my brothers and sisters, one way of spotting hidden idols is that person talks about that another individual or that camp or that group or that person or a thing. How many times have we come together and people are spending more time complimenting the so-called Hebrew garments that people are wearing with embroideries, with Yahuwah's name embroidered on it, or Yahusha's name, or menorah? How often do we spend time talking about someone's new car or the new thing that we've done with the pulpit in a group? How often do we speak of the things that can be categorized as vain or vanity? If we spend too much time, then the question is, how much do we value time? Do we have hidden idols that just maybe we spending too much time talking about? We do not have time to waste during these last days, my brothers and sisters. Consider how Colossians 4:5 say, walk in wisdom towards those who are outside, redeeming the time. Are we busy looking at ourselves? Are we our own idols? Do we spend more time in the mirror? Do we spend more time dressing the part to seduce others? Yashral, Yashral. Let us consider the next time we encounter one another or attend an assembly or set apart ones and ask ourselves, how much time is spent on one's attire, their dress, or their vehicle, or the setup, the pulpit setup, or even one's hair or men's beards? It would be wise to begin using our time wisely. And I say wise and wisely, I cannot emphasize why it is important to start managing our time better. Let us begin to be mindful of how we conduct ourselves to avoid hidden idols. If we cause a person to look at us more, to pay more attention to us or our stuff, we may have caused that brother or sister to stumble and fall. Things outside of set-apartness is gone unchecked will cause many to miss out on matters of priorities. We fail to realize others see when we have hidden idols, and will oftentimes talk about a person behind their back. It is important to always examine ourselves, lest we fall into strongholds unaware, my brothers and sisters. Strongholds. Are we walking around and propping up idols subtly, infecting a brother or sister, being a distraction to a brother or sister? Let's put it in check, my brothers and sisters. Come with me to 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5 read, examine yourselves whether you are in the belief. Prove yourselves. And do you not know yourselves that Yahusha Messiah is in you unless you are disproved? So are we covering up Yahusha in us? Do we cloud the vision of set apart actions waiting to flow from us? Come with me, Galatians 6, chapter 6, verse 4 reads, Galatians 6, 4 reads, but let each one examine his own work, and then he shall have boasting in himself alone, and not in another. Examine what we're doing, what we're saying. Consider James chapter 3, verse 14 through 16, and I'm reading from the eSword. James chapter 3, 14 through 16 read, but if you have bitter jealousy and self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast against and lie against the truth. This is not the wisdom coming down from above, but it is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and self-seeking are, there is confusion in every foul deed. I ask you, my brothers and sisters, have you examined those whom you fellowship with? Is there a degree of division and confusion? Are there hidden idols causing it? Do you see cliques where people are talking about a brother or sister behind their backs, stirring up gossip and grumblings and disputes? Receiving the life in the scriptures occurs, my brothers and sisters, when we are able to move beyond the literal and discern what the Spirit has to say regarding what is written. And we can find out by prayer and study and embracing the things necessary to protect us from hidden idols. There are those who will look at the letter alone and fail to consider how some scriptures presented are parsed or cherry-picked. They fail to realize what the everlasting word resembles. This is a tactic used to ignore or omit to hidden idols when corrections come. In other words, people get defensive when you start talking about you got a hidden idol. You're showing an idol. When it comes to the scriptures, and people just throw the scriptures in the point and say, well, that's what the word says. And sometimes they say that to try to cover up their infatuation or attraction to something outside of what is set apart. Do not fall for the deflections, my brothers and sisters. Yahshua, oh Yahshua, hidden idols. End times are here. Soon we will start moving. Movement will come to everyone who is physically alive in due season. And that season will be sooner for some than others. Let us be mindful, sometimes a brother or sister may be able to see our hidden idols before we recognize them. So do not be quick to reject a brother or a sister and say, I don't like the way you talking about me. This is not an idol. I'm not contributing to idol worship. How many sisters and brothers have you ever seen a little bit depressed or lowly when they see camps dressed in supposedly Hebrew garb, but they cannot afford the garments? How many brothers and sisters made sacrifice taken from their children just so they can buy a Hebrew garment? How many brothers and sisters promote these Hebrew garments and they use blatant capitalism saying, well, you would buy any other clothes, you should buy the Hebrew garment? You see, my brothers and sisters, in some cases, these so-called Hebrew garments have sparked hidden idols, confusion, and jealousy. Focus is of utmost priority as we enter into the most trying times ahead. Therefore, allow me to present once again the need to keep Proverbs 4:20 through 27 top of mind. Let me begin by reading Proverbs 4:20. My son, listen to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. And he goes on to say in the 21st through the 24th verse, let them not depart from your eyes. Guard them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the sources of life. This heart is speaking about the inward man that is joined with the spirit of Yahusha. There are some scriptures that talk about the heart being deceitfully wicked. That's talking about the brain, that part of the body that can be programmed, mentally conditioned, or trained to do things, even things that may be detrimental to our well-being. This heart is talking about the inward man. For our inward man joined with the spirit of Yahusha, we find the source of life, which is indeed Abba Yahuah. He goes on to say, turn away from a crooked mouth and put perverse lips far from you. Let's squelch the talkings, the babblings, the grumblings, the gossiping regarding vanity and vain things and people that are vain. It goes on to say, let your eyes look forward and your eyelids look straight before you. Consider the path of your feet, and all your ways are established. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. You see, it says don't turn to the right or turn to the left, because there are some people that say if you always go left, that'll be correct. And some say you can't go wrong if you go right. It's saying focus. Focus on the Spirit of the Almighty Father to guide our footsteps, to direct our path, and we will come away from evil, step by step. If we consider the damage that hidden idols can produce, it should not be difficult to know why Proverbs 4:20 through 27 should become top of mind, especially for such a time as this. Yahusha, my brother, my sister, do not forget Matthew 24th chapter. It speaks of individuals being led astray. Know the why behind removing hidden idols, my brothers and sisters. Ask yourself, what all does this mean? Matthew 24:4-5 saying, Yahusha answered and said to him, take heed that no one leads you astray. Consider the things that could lead us astray, my brothers and sisters. And oftentimes, hidden idols are somewhere in there. Matthew 24:5 said, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. How people step at us. And it's not just saying, just using his name, saying that they are the Messiah. This also applies, if you can receive this, my brother, to those that constantly say, the Almighty Father told me, Yahuwah told me, the Ruach HaKodesh revealed this to me. When they start lying, if they did not vet and examine what they believed the Spirit of Yahuwah said to them, if they did not examine it and weigh it against the scriptures that are made alive, if they do not speak of things that embraces set-apartness, but speak contradictory things, know this, Yahuwah is not divided against himself. He's not going to fight against himself. He's not going to say something contrary to his scriptures that are made alive. There are exceptions throughout the so-called Old Testament. Not contradictions, exceptions. We can only understand and recognize them truthfully by prayer and understanding. Let me continue with Matthew 24:9-12. It said, then they should deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Then many shall stumble. What's making them stumble? Could it be a hidden idol? And then they shall deliver up one another and shall hate one another. Could jealousy fuel that? And many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. Recognize what can cause things that will lead to us being carried off the path of set-apartness, being led astray. When we welcome the discipline from Abba Yahuah, it helps, my brothers and sisters, it helps bring and reestablish focus on Him. To minimize becoming trapped by hidden idols, it would be wise to welcome and accept the need for judgment and discipline. Remember, Revelation 3:19, where it is written, "As many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent." Too many of us look at discipline or judgment in a negative sense. My brothers and sisters, consider Proverbs 3:11 and 12. It says, "It is written, my son, do not despise the discipline of Yahuah, and do not loathe his reproof. For whom Yahuah loves, he reprove, as a father the son, whom he delights in." You see, my brothers and sisters, it is time to rise up, my brothers and sisters. Embrace the guardrail established by Abba Yahuah to avoid hidden idols. In other words, be mindful of his set-apart instructions. Be mindful of the warnings. Be mindful of wise teaching and wise counsel and wise preaching. Hidden idols, my brothers and sisters, let's be prepared to watch them shed in the days ahead as the discipline of the Almighty Father is magnified. That's all I have for right now, but let's address the matter of hidden idols. Let's face the realities of what's distracting us, if only for a moment, and step away and begin to know how to quickly avoid or come out of the midst of those who embrace hidden idols. On that note, to you, my brother, my sister, my family, if you listen to this from beginning to end, I salute you. I salute your pursuit of set-apartness and your desire to grow in maturity as the Almighty Father Yahuah will have it. I come to you as I believe I am directed. In the name of Yahusha, my name is Symmanayah, and I say to you, my brother, my sister, my family, Shalum.